Lens here, welcome back to the 12 Days of Plug and Plays, and I am very happy to bring you something that I was very happy to play. I had fun with this video, because we're going to be talking about this little guy right here. The Namco Plug and Play. Now, how the fuck could anyone not love Namco? The name is synonymous with arcade games everywhere. When you think of an arcade game, you automatically think of Pac-Man. Or Donkey Kong, but that's, like a Nintendo property, so not on here. Well, I kind of got nostalgic feelings for this thing right off the bat because my mom used to play this at her house, and her house is very, 80s looking yet, certain rooms in her house. So I just remember this sitting there, and I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome. Very retro. Then my mom ended up giving it to me later. I don't remember when she gave it to me, but I didn't play it right away. It just kind of sat with all my other plug-and-plays until I got around to playing it. But what can be said about it? Anyway, like every other video, we're going to take a look at what this thing looks like first. It looks like an arcade machine. It looks like an arcade cabinet, like a little one, only without the screen. But you're supposed to actually look at it and just, imagine the TV as your arcade screen monitor. It's got a big-ass button on it for when you play your space shooter games, and it's got a big-ass reset button on it. It's got your standard joystick. I'm not a big fan of the top of this joystick, and I'm going to get into that in this video. But other than that, I like it. It looks nice. But a plug-and-play is only as good as its games, right? So, how well does this thing hold up? Well, now we're going to take a look. Let's fuck this pig. Namco. How can anyone not love Namco? The name is synonymous with some of the most classic arcade games of all time. And this plug-and-play, much like every other plug-and-play, is comprised of a bunch of mini-games. But they're good mini-games. They're what we all grew up with. First up, of course, we got Pac-Man. And what can be said about that, besides classic? You eat the big pellets to eat ghosts, you eat fruit for a top score, and you eat all the pellets on the screen to clear the stage. And yes, it's a classic arcade game. It goes on and on forever. The main point of the game is just to get a high score points, pretty much. But it's fun. Pac-Man was fucking great. Next up is Galaxian. Gotta avoid the aliens while shooting all of them off the screen. Some of them fly towards you. It was a step above Space Invaders. I liked Galaxian as a kid in Galaga, and to this day I still love Galaxian. It's still a really fun shooter to play. And another game that defines the word classic. Rally X. Now, I've never played this one, but I guess it was a classic arcade game back in the day. Of course it was. It's Namco. It's part of the Namco Plug and Play, man. You gotta race to get 10 flags before you run out of gas and avoid the other racers by blowing smoke at them. Pretty clever. Pretty good idea for an early racing game, and a lot funner than the past racing games I played in these other Plug and Plays. But to be fair, it's really not saying much. Then you got Dig Dug. Who the hell does not love Dig Dug? Dig Dug is a lot of fucking fun. It's the classic digging maze game where you inflate and blow up enemies before they can kill you or escape. I always thought it was funny when you walk, the music plays, and once you stop, the music stops. I never quite understood that, but it's one of those things that gives this game its charm. Bosconian. This is another classic arcade game that I've never played until my mom gave me this plug and play. It's a free-roaming space shooter. It's kind of like a version of Asteroids. It's well advanced for 1981. Just fly around, shoot shit, and destroy the enemy bases. Doesn't get any more classic than that. Well, all in all, the graphics, the sound, they're all really good. This little plug-and-play actually emulates these games fairly well. I'm pretty certain that these are just ROMs of the versions of the game on consoles. I don't think that these are the arcade versions. But still, the console versions are pretty faithful reproductions of what you'd get in the arcade anyway. So this plug-and-play is alright. It takes you back to the good old days of video games. They're still fun to play, and you can still get lost in them for hours. But it's a plug and play, so there's no way this thing could be absolutely 100% perfect. The one fatal flaw of this thing that almost destroys the entire experience is the joystick. The one main thing you need to play most of these games with. The ball in the end spins around, and it makes it difficult to make precise movements. It sabotages the gameplay. It's the same problem I had on the other plug and plays that I had where the knob spins around, much like the Star Wars plug and play that I played. It's the most simple, most basic part of the game, and they managed to fuck it up in true plug-and-play fashion. So in conclusion, I already have all these games on consoles, so it's kind of pointless for me to own this, and it makes this thing irrelevant. But if I had to keep any of these plug-and-plays, I would keep this one purely based off of its looks. It looks like an old arcade machine. It's cool. Well, there you have it, my friends. The Namco plug-and-play. I like this thing, except for the ball on the joystick is what I had a problem with, like I mentioned. But it's also, like I said, too, I plan on keeping this one. I love the look of it. I love the design. The purple and yellow go well together. Very retro looking. My parents loved these games when they were younger. I loved these games when I was younger. Classic, they're timeless, and if I can see any plug-and-play being worth anything later, it's probably going to be something like this. Well, I've been enjoying myself a lot doing these for you guys. There's only 2 left, and I'm really excited about the next 2. So tune in for the next 2, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.